It is the job of the parent to teach the child and not rely on external institutions or individuals to support their child's current and developing capabilities. And it is the job of the parent to support that child in learning at home and not wait until an arbitrary and government-imposed age. Welcome back to At Home with Cici. I'm Cici, mama to three amazing humans and, among other things, a homeschooling parent. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe, like and comment, and press that little bell if you are very interested in homeschooling content in the UK or elsewhere. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of what I have done and what I'm currently doing with my littlest one, 3.5, to support their reading and writing journey. Learning to read all stems from being read to, being exposed to beautiful language, interesting language, extensive vocabulary, beautiful stories, funny stories, varied and diverse stories, and being read to a lot. When my children were in my tummy, I would be reading to them, and as soon as they were born, I was reading to them stories and things beyond their years. And I think that's a really important thing to say. A lot of people feel that, some things are too old for children or too complex for children, but if they are not exposed to it at a younger age, then it can become complicated in the older years. If they're exposed to it from the beginning, it's normal, and they're used to hearing these words and these complex metaphors and sentence structures and just general language. So reading to your child will help them learn to read because they're exposed to these words and they'll understand what reading means. They'll understand what a word is, they'll understand what a sentence is before they understand the label for those things. So yes, lots of reading, all types of books, living books especially. So if you're not aware of what a living book is, it is a term, I think, coined by Charlotte Mason, a British educator from a long time ago, who I guess I agree with in the sense that children should be exposed to beautiful, complex, interesting language. So a living book has gorgeous illustrations, realistic illustrations that make sense to a child, make sense to the world that they see around them, and has language and stories that are full and interesting and beautiful. As a family who also do Montessori at home, the living books can clash a bit with those two theories of education. In the Montessori home or school or classroom, fact and realness are what's exemplified and praised. But in a Charlotte Mason classroom, fantastical stories are accepted. Fantasy is not really a part of Montessori learning because it is not real. It doesn't teach the child the real world. But Charlotte Mason books incorporate all types of literature that can inspire and excite a child. So that's where those two, I guess, pedagogies sort of clash for me, because I agree on this side with the exciting literature, something that makes you want to read. And while I agree with Montessori that real, true, relatable stories and books make sense, we still incorporate fantasy and magic and spirit into our literature and play and life. Okay, so books. When Maya was younger, I also introduced to her quite young on her Montessori shelves 3-part cards. So these lovely cards are from the Montessori family I think, run by someone called Karen Robinson, I think. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but she's a really lovely seeming person, and she provides these Montessori boxes that are themed. So there's like space, emotions, weather, and this one is the Savannah. I got this a while ago, the Savannah theme box, and these are the 3-part cards. So you have the card with the picture and the word, then you have just the picture, and you have just the words. There are various ways to use these cards. When you first introduce them to a non-reader, to a young person like I do, you introduce just the picture cards first. And what we would do is I would have, not necessarily these ones, I have all different ones that I've bought and mainly ones that I've made myself. They're very easy to make. You just find pictures and then write the word, type the word underneath and print them out and cut them up. But these ones are just so nicely made and they're round edged. Anyway, if you like the link, let me know. So yes, you would introduce the picture and then a physical representation of that picture. So if it was fruit, for example, you would have the picture of the fruit and then an actual fruit or like a toy fruit or something. And then you would have a few of those in a basket with the physical representations, and then you'd have the child match them up. So that is called visual discrimination, where they can see the difference between things, and that is the beginnings of recognizing the differences between other shapes like letters. And that helps them start to read eventually, or not start to read, but it's the basis for reading. So you would start with just the pictures. Then you can introduce the pictures with the words. So then I would, instead of using just the pictures, I would have the pictures that had the word in the same card, so that when she's matching, she's seeing the word, she's exposed to the shape of the word, the shape of the letters, the length, etc. So she's seeing that and associating those two with the picture and with the physical. And then eventually you start to understand the initial sounds. So before the initial sound, before the word card is introduced, we had been going over initial sounds together. So Maya was introduced to all of the letters of the alphabet, and then we went back and we went over the first few sounds, what I think it's called, no, not matpis, satpim, something like that, but it's S-A or M-A-T-S-I-N or something like that, or D or something. The first letters of the alphabet that can be said most easily. D, ah, those are all easy ones. So once I'd introduced Maya to those and she'd started to grasp those, then I would introduce the word card, and she would use her knowledge to recognize the sound and then match it to the card. So she would see the b, and then I would only include one b picture, for example, and then she'd be able to find that and match it. So she would know that this must be baboon because that's the only b word. So this word must be baboon. And then once you've matched the word to the picture, you can check it with the full card. So a lot of activities in Montessori classroom and at home provide the opportunity for the child to self-correct and to check for themselves. So that provides that independence to consolidate their learning themselves. So Maya can see that, yes, I got it right because that word is the same shape and length as that word. So they match. I'm right, that says baboon. I understand it. As we progressed with her phonics learning, then there would be more of a challenge. So we'd put down the picture card, and then she would have to match the words to the cards, or match the picture to the word, which was sometimes trickier. So all the words would be laid out, and then she'd pick a picture card, and that says hyena, so she'd have to look at all the words to find hyena. That's a completely different activity to matching the word to a picture, because you're just reading one word at a time and then finding the picture. When you do it the other way around, you're seeing all the words at once, so it's more complicated, more to look at, and it's a bigger challenge, but she is able to do that. Now she can read almost fluently with words that are CVC or the sight words we've learned, or words that have to the rule phonics rules like oo and a. Okay, so like I said, before we went on to the more complex and challenging tasks within the 3-part cards, I introduced my two initial sounds. So I got these drawers from the Works. They were like, it was like £5, I think, 5 or 8 or something, super cheap for what it is. I got two. The other one is for her Christmas advent calendar. So yes, there are 25 drawers, Y and Z are together. So each box represents a sound. The first, the basic sounds, 1-letter sounds. For example, A, and then inside there's a picture of animals and an apple. These are just things that we had around the house or that I made myself. So this drawing I made myself. The apple is a magnet from a set of alphabet magnets. And let's do another one. M or is magnifying glass. Monkey, monkey, mushroom, mug. These are just these are the same magnets. That was a little thing from a busy book, and this is a mini magnifying glass we just had in the house. I cannot remember where it was from. Let's find another one. Which one is more interesting? Okay, in G we had a picture of a guitar, a gift, although she might have said present as well. This is a little magnet from a place. Sorry about that, I ran out of storage, I had to delete some videos. Yeah, so there was grass and a golden snitch toy. So gold. So all different things in these little boxes that Maya would just explore. I would put a few out on her shelves, and she would just go through them. Eventually, I would create activities where she would match up the initial sounds with little objects like these. She would have to tidy up the box and put everything back in the drawers. So yes, when I introduced all the sounds, I would introduce the pure sounds of the letters. So I didn't introduce the name of the letters first, I only introduced them as sounds. So it didn't complicate her brain when she was first being introduced to them. Now she understands the letter name and sound, but at the beginning we just introduced the sound so she can hear, and then it's easier to read. So the pure sounds are, for example, a, b, k instead of k, or f. You don't say f, because then when you're blending the words together to make blending the sounds together to make the word, you're going to hear the wrong sounds. So if the word is fat, it wouldn't be f, a, t, because then you're going to say f-a-t. You say the pure sound, f-a-t, fat. So that's how she learned. She learned the pure sounds first, and that's what helped her understand how to hear and read them before knowing the letter names. So she didn't know the alphabet song, she didn't know the names of letters, she knew the sounds they made before anything else. Then we went on to, I found these lovely cards from a place called Ready Set Learn, and let me show you the first set. So this is set 1. This is the cards. So it's like white clean material. So on the front you have the letter, and then you have, can you see, trace it, read it, so it's got the sound buttons, and write it, and then find it, so you find a word that begins with a, and there it is. So you use a whiteboard pen and practice these. Yes, and these sound buttons they show the length of the sound. So if it's got a dot, that's just ah. If it has a line, that would mean it was a digraph or a trigraph. For example, like A, may I play, which is AY, or I, fly high, which is IGH, a trigraph. So these help you see the length of the sound as well. So we have them in the simple sounds, or the initial sounds, and then currently we're looking at these sorts of sounds. So ooh, like in true or blue, or tissue, etc. So it's the same format on every card, but obviously a different sound each time. We also use these as flashcards, so Maya can go through really quickly and I show the sound, she says it. We use it for spelling. She loves, if you saw our quality of number 1 lesson, you see that she enjoys jumping and moving. So we would so this is the whole 3 sets, so we've learned almost all of them. But when I'm introducing a new group, we'd lay them out and then I'd say, okay, jump to ah, and she'd jump to ah, and then she'd tell me to jump to 1, and then eventually the floor became waters with crocodiles in it, so we had to jump really quickly and be careful of the crocodiles. And then we'd tidy up and I'd say, bring me this and bring me that, or we'd hide them around the house. We would take them on trips with us, and so we can keep playing with them. These are really nice to just take anywhere. They're just a great resource, really good. So a lot of her learning has come from these cards, or a consolidation of her learning. Yes, so consolidation of learning, in that her play area, her Montessori shelves that the phone is sitting on right now, would always be full of activities that incorporated reading and language arts in whatever the activity was. Or, not all of them, but there would always be something out aside from the specific language arts materials that would support her learning of language, I guess. So yes, I wasn't just relying on these fantastic resources, it was all the things we were doing together and daily. So then I introduced something, I think it was last year, called washika. It's quite expensive, but I think it's worth it in terms of what I would be doing anyway. I would be making these types of cards myself, and printing them out or cutting that. It saved me so much time, and there's a huge set. So the reading program, this is it, washika. It can come in beautiful color-coded drawers and it looks gorgeous, but we just don't have the space. Didn't have the space for that, so I just put them in little sandwich bags, snack bags, and then divided them up into all the different sounds. So she has mastered the red set, which was the basic sounds A, E, I, O, U, and the orange set, which was the blends with L, S, and R, like stem, slim, swim, where it starts with an S and then has another consonant straight after, or the L ones where it's bled, blue, and then ones where R is the second letter. So she's mastered those and mastered the S, T, M, P, N, D, all of these ones. So it's different phonics rules in card form, and I use that program alongside her Moveable Alphabet, and you'll see her using that in our day in the life video. So I won't show you that now, but this is how I have it set out on the her Montessori shelf. So this is the little booklet that has other words in it. This is the focused sound, and then there are the pictures. On the back of the picture is the word in print and cursive, and then just the word on its own to match. So it's similar to a 3-part card, but it's 2 parts. And then we use the Moveable Alphabet, so when she wants to spell a word as well. So the Moveable Alphabet is like a precursor to writing. The child is writing by like placing the letters into a word. So it's like spelling, but also seeing the shape of the word, making the word is the same as, is like the basis for writing. So that is how we started with Maya's writing, and then also lots of fine motor activities to strengthen up her hands to move in the right way. So pinching activities, pouring activities, scooping activities, cutting activities, clipping activities, Play-Doh, and all those types of things that help support their finger, wrist and hand dexterity and strength. And at the same time, she would be working with the Sandpaper Letters, where she can feel the shape, trace it with her forefinger and middle finger to feel the shape before using a pencil to write. We'd use sand or salt trays where she can practice in that, Play-Doh, water. It happened again. So I was saying, yes, so she would also form and make shapes in Play-Doh, water, beans, rice, any type of sensory material to get her hand making those shapes. So those are all of the things so far that we had been doing to help Maya on her reading and writing journey, that we're still doing now, always incorporating language arts into daily activities in like intentional learning time, but outside as well. New for Maya this year are some more focused writing and formation and reading activities that are supporting her in her reading and writing journey, including her nature journal, narration book, and other notebooking activities that she does. Oh, and also I have introduced the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts Kindergarten. So you'll see her using that in Day in the Life video. But this is it, it's an American Mormon curriculum. And if you don't know, I'll tell you now, we are not a Christian or religious household. We are spiritual in some sense, but we don't teach from a religious point of view. There is some religious talk in here, but I just omit it when we're teaching. It's really not a big deal, and I think it's worth it for, just like with the Rashika program, it is stuff we would do that I don't have to prepare. It has also encouraged us, because of the way it's structured, it's as they say, an open and go curriculum where you just open it, read what's there, and then do the activities. One of the activities is to read a book often. So every time we do a lesson, before we start the curriculum work, the book work, she reads one of the little readers. So she has been reading her own little books before now, but since we started this curriculum, we have a more dedicated time for her reading, which has really helped her improve quite quickly. So she's reading at an American kindergarten level quite well. It also comes with the booster cards, which is like a whole little activity book on its own, and she loves getting through each like little section so that she can do the maze. She loves mazes. So this is the Good and the Beautiful, which we are currently working through. It's religious. It is also American, so there are some spelling differences and handwriting differences. So it's all done in print. I'm teaching Maya pre-cursive, so everything with a flick to help her when she goes on into doing cursive writing and to help her do joined up writing. I also think it just looks nicer. So for example, where it's showing how to form the letter, I've just added the flick here, where otherwise it would look like this, so that Maya can see the way we do it. But it's not a big deal, and she can read in print and cursive or pre-cursive fine. So I think it's good that there's the difference, that she can read and see the print formations, but also know that she can write differently. The other thing in this book, aside from the God chat and omitting that, is the way they talk about animals. So here the task is to read the sentences and then colour in the star if it's true to the picture. But a lot of the time, if it's an animal picture, they use it to describe a person. So I change it to a she or he or they instead of an it, and Maya understands it. And also I think it's helping her recognise these sight words, which are a little bit harder than the it anyway. So it all works out, not a big deal. And it also creates moments and opportunities for discussion about how we talk about animals in the lesson as well. So she'll see that people are using it, and we don't call animals its because they are whole people with personalities and life. So they are not objects. So that's the only thing about this curriculum is the God, the letter formation, and the way they speak about animals, which is a typical and very normal way that humans speak about animals, but it's not the way that we speak about animals. So there's no problem with us having to correct anything because it's all opportunity for learning, discussion, and understanding. Let's see. So books and reading, visual discrimination, introducing sounds as in the pure format, matching and recognizing letters and sounds rather, always considering the precursor to the next stage. So before we write, we get our hands ready. Before we spell, we practice with physical objects, physical letters we can see and we can change easily. If we make a mistake with the movable alphabet, for example, this video Maya is doing the th sound, not the the th sound, th, the soft th. She's writing the word path, P-A-T-H, but because she's picking up T and H at the same time because she knows it's a digraph, they're one sound, so she's choosing the T and the H together. She then puts them down the wrong way, but because we're using the movable alphabet, she can correct her mistake without having to rub out or feel bad or see that there's wrong been done, like with residue of writing, because she can just swap it around and then it's easily fixed, easily understood. So this precursor to writing is still used even though Maya is actually writing as well now. Yeah, so reading is a long journey, but if you incorporate reading to the child every day, a variety of literature, and you try and incorporate reading and language arts activities into everything you do really easily, really simply, not complicated for yourself or the child, and they have no learning issues, then you'll be on your way whenever they're ready to start learning. And you'll know when they're ready because they want to know what it says, or they'll understand that that's a word, or they'll recognize something or show their understanding in some way. You just have to be alert and observe and aware of your child, and then take the opportunity to start supporting their learning. So if you or your children are not reading together yet in terms of learning to read, then I wish you good luck on that journey. If you're on it right now, I hope you're having a great time. And if you're already past those years, I hope it was just fun for you to spend a moment back in time and remembering what you did on your journey. If you have any questions, requests for links or other information or any other lovely comments, please put them below.